Hello. Welcome. My name is Lexi Sidle. I'm a yoga instructor in Manhattan, New York, and I'm very, very excited to be here all with you. If you're tuning in to YouTube now, these videos will be done live in Churchill Coalition's Facebook page. It will be linked below. But I'm basically going to be leading for the next 9 weeks a yoga class every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, and it'll be anywhere from 30 minutes to 50 minutes depending on what the day looks like and what I think that we're all feeling for that day. But it will be a short yoga flow that you can do at home, whether you are a kiddo or the family of a kiddo or just an adult who wants to practice yoga. All are welcome, and I'm going to try to make these yoga sequences as accessible as I can so that anybody anywhere can do them. You don't need a fancy mat or props unless you want to, but we'll usually do some asanas and postures that we can just do on our carpets if we need to. And I'm really, really excited to share them out with you all. I'm here today to just touch on the benefits of yoga and specifically talk about the type of yoga that I will be teaching, which is Ananda yoga. So I'll start with the benefits of yoga in general. Yoga has become very trendy and very much a buzzword in the last, honestly, couple of years especially, but for a while now. And I want to share with you all that that's not an accident. Yoga is such a powerful tool, and so yoga is really great for your body physically, and I think that that's usually the benefit that most people assume, is that yoga is for flexibility. But yoga is also so powerful for the mind and for mental health, and in the circumstances that we're in right now, the idea of sharing this yoga practice right now is that hopefully it will help provide some clarity and some calmness and peace and just really show you your own abilities to using just your own body and breath to really check in with yourself and find peace within, even when the external world seems so challenging and confusing and hard. So each yoga asana has its own physical benefit. So for example, twists of any type, so like a spinal twist, and let's say we're doing Ardha Matsyenasana, those are really great for massaging our internal organs and our digestive organs, and they allow for the body to have kind of a squeeze and soak effect. So the squeezing eliminates any toxins while also eliminating any stuck energy, and it can also help the body absorb more nutrients, and it just aids in ridding the body of those toxins that we don't really want to have in our bodies. And things like Adho Mukha Svanasana, which is downward dog, is an inversion. So that means that your head is below your heart. And postures like that are really great for brain fog and for memory. But with that being said, Adho Mukha Svanasana is also strengthening the arms and stretching the legs. So these physical benefits go so much further than just physical benefits, and usually an asana isn't just for flexibility, but it can really help realign our body, help with posture, so many other things that sometimes get overlooked. And so along with each asana having its own benefits, and I will structure these classes in a particular way that I try to touch on a variety of different benefits so that every class is going to get a little bit of stretching in there, get a little bit of strength in there, get a little bit of an inversion or something to stimulate the mind. And then I want to talk about yoga overall as just the benefits big picture. So yoga is also known as meditation in action, and meditation is also something that has become very big in recent years, and the studies on meditation and how much just meditating once a day can really impact the way that you go throughout the rest of your day are so tremendous. If you haven't looked into meditation, I highly, highly encourage you to do so. But I'm going to talk a little bit about yoga, and this also goes for meditation. But so we have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response. Back in the day when we were scavengers for food and we were out in the wilderness, the sympathetic nervous system protected us. And fight or flight was something that we were always tapped into because it was truly life-threatening external circumstances that we were going through. Today, a lot of us tend to still operate in that fight or flight response, but we're no longer fighting for our lives. Hopefully, ideally. And so, in most of our everyday lives, we are operating in this fight or flight response because of things like a stressful day at work or a falling out with a friend, and not taking away how hard those situations are and how stressful they can be. But when we're in fight or flight response, our body is operating to save our lives, and it's pumping all of these stress hormones, and it's really tiring out the body. So yoga and meditation, instead of operating in sympathetic, it brings us back into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is known as the rest or digest function of the nervous system. And so this is the time where our body is able to really function at its full capacity. So we're able to digest and rest, but also there's so many other aspects. We're able to remain in balance, and our hormones are balanced, and we're able to fight off disease and heal our own bodies when we are in this rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system. So practicing yoga every day or once a week or whenever it is that you're able to is just a really great way to tap back into bringing our body into a more harmonious state where it can really function at its full potential, and that'll improve things like digestion, memory, your nervous system, your hormones, your stress levels, so many things. So that, I just wanted to touch on that, and I also wanted to, I think that this is very appropriate for the class that I'm going to be leading once a week. So Oxford University found in a study that people who practice yoga just once a week, they did a study, and this is once a week, so much like this class, if you tune in with me every Monday, once a week, the participants of the study experienced lower stress levels, lower blood pressure, and were able to sleep better at night. So it doesn't have to be something that you're doing every day. It could just be a 30-minute practice once a week, and you could see massive benefits and shifts in your energy and in your body and in the way that maybe you're sleeping so much. So that is a very brief, I could go on and on about the benefits of yoga and how much it's impacted my life. But that is a very brief overview of the benefits of yoga in general. And now I want to touch on Ananda yoga. So Ananda means bliss, and Ananda Village is where this style of yoga has originated. Ananda Village was founded based off of the teachings of a man named Yogananda. And so Yogananda came over from India to the West, and he was one of the first to bring yoga to the United States. And so Ananda yoga is a form of Hatha yoga. Hatha yoga is a yoga style that typically you hold the asanas for a little bit longer, and it's known as a more relaxing a more relaxing style of yoga than other ones like power yoga or vinyasa yoga. And so specifically, Ananda yoga utilizes 3 things that not other hatha yoga styles typically do. And so that is affirmations, that is what we call neutral asanas or pauses, and that is intentional breathing. So in Ananda yoga, I will invite you to, once we are in an asana and holding it for a certain amount of time, I will invite you to mentally affirm something after me. This is to bring the mind into alignment with the body. So if we're holding an asana, we're there, we're breathing deeply, and our body is absorbing the effects of this asana, the affirmation is going to help our mind to also absorb the effects of this asana. And I just want to put it out there that these affirmations are just an offering. So in no sense do you always need to mentally affirm after me if you don't feel like you want to. Anything that I bring to my yoga classes is purely just an offering, and I hope that whatever resonates you take with you, and what doesn't you leave. The affirmations, if something really resonates with you and you want to bring it into your day and maybe remind yourself throughout the day of that affirmation, feel free to do so. I like to use those affirmations on the mat, but also off the mat very often. The second thing that Ananda yoga does that's a little bit different or makes it unique is these neutral asanas or neutral postures. So in between each asana, we will take a neutral asana, much like Tadasana, which is mountain pose, standing up straight, or sitting in something like easy pose. And this is time for our body to recalibrate after each asana, but it's also time for us to direct the energy that we just gathered holding, whether it was Vrksasana or tree pose or whatever asana it is that we're holding, guiding that energy in and up. So an exercise that I invite you to do at home, if you'd like, is go ahead and hold something like chair pose. And you can even visualize this when you get home after a long day of work. So imagine that you're holding chair pose right now, and then when you finally come out of it, you feel, just depleted. Or you come home from a long day of work and you're like, you just sprawl out onto the couch, and all the energy kind of feels like it just like comes out of you. Something that Ananda yoga really utilizes, and I love so much about it, is that we will hold these sometimes intense, we will hold these asanas though, and we'll be gathering some energy in different parts of our body. And then we'll take a neutral asana, which is just, let's say, sitting in place, closing our eyes, and guiding the energy in and up to the brain. So the idea behind this is that we won't leave Ananda classes feeling exhausted like we just did a hard workout, or that we're just really tired. We want to leave Ananda classes super energized and vitalized and ready to take on the day. The last thing that Ananda yoga does that's a little bit different, and this one isn't as different, but intentional breathing is something that we will be practicing, and I will encourage you and remind you throughout our practices. So we, in Ananda yoga, use something called diaphragmatic breathing, which is breathing all the way into the belly through your nose. So deep inhales all the way into the nose, into the belly as it expands, and exhaling as your belly contracts. And so, funny enough, if you look at a baby when they're born, you can see that they really breathe all the way into their bellies and into their abdomens. And somehow, over time and through societal conditioning or just life circumstances, I know I'm really guilty of doing this on my own, but we take really short, quick breaths. And we have forgotten to fully breathe in and take full deep breaths that are really coming into the bottom of the lungs, which help us to oxygenate all the blood and the organs. And again, this is something that I learned on the mat and that I try very often to take off the mat. It's helped me to be checking in with my breath throughout the day. So those are the 3 big things that make Ananda Yoga so special, and it's why I'm so excited to share this practice with you all. I just want to reiterate that everything in the classes that I'm going to be sharing with you all is just an offering, and yoga is actually just a practice of unity, to be honest. And so if you just show up to the mat and take Shavasana the entire class and breathe with everybody else who's practicing, or just breathe with me, you are doing absolutely great. If you come to class and you start it and then you take child's pose for the rest of it, that is yoga. There is no right or wrong way to do yoga. There's not being good or bad at yoga. Yoga is just showing up and breathing together in unity and really tapping into activating that parasympathetic nervous system. So, last thing that I want to touch on is how these classes will look. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, these classes will be Monday, Facebook Live, the Churchill Coalition Facebook page. They will be at 10 a.m., and that is where I invite you to all practice with me in real time. I think there's something very, very powerful about doing the practice together and all holding the space for one another. But if you miss it or you want to rewatch it, the videos will then be uploaded to YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this right now. And what these classes will be structured as we will start every class with a pranayama, which is also known as a breathing exercise. So this is just a way to get centered and really activate that breath, get back into our bodies, get ready to be really present in our practice. Then we'll do a couple of asanas, much like I explained. So we'll do Ananda Yoga asanas. I will walk you all through them. And then we will finish every class with Shavasana or some form of meditation. So sometimes we will do a breathing exercise to meditate at the end. Sometimes I'll do a guided meditation, like visualizations of waterfall and nature and just things to make you feel really good before we all leave each other. So that is all that I think that I have to share with you all today. I shared about the benefits of yoga, about what makes Ananda Yoga so special, and about the format of the class. The last thing that I want to mention is that I want to interact with you all as much as you want to interact with me. So if you have any questions about specific yoga asanas or postures, or if you want to see more of something, let me know. If you just want to chat or want to talk about meditation, or maybe you have something specific that you want to work on in your yoga practice, I highly, highly encourage you to reach out to me. This is going to be a wonderful experience, and I'm looking forward to tuning in every Monday with you all. So, the light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.